Hi, let's introduce to education quality and QA's UK quality code. I'll take around 25 minutes to cover this module. Okay, aim. Why we're doing this today? We are understanding the concept of quality in education, and you should be able to understand 3 dimensions of UK quality code and implement quality systems as per your roles, external benchmarks, and policy requirements. First of all, what is concept of quality? Quality is, people call it standards, perfection, excellence, fitness for the purpose, value for money, or consumer satisfaction. So a range of definition of quality. Quality can be seen from the angle of quality assurance and quality control. Quality assurance is more of the process oriented, and the quality control is more focused on end product. Quality assurance is a feed forward system which ensures that whatever you're doing is in such a way that outcome is right. On the other hand, quality control is feedback system looking backward, that you check at the end that product is right or wrong. Look at what kind of system do you want at your organizations. Do you want quality assurance or quality control, and which one and why? UK quality code for higher education institutions in UK. What is quality code? Quality code is a definite reference point for all those who are involved in delivering higher education, leading to awards from or validation of award by UK higher education institutions. It has 3 parts. Part A is about academic standards. Part 2 is about quality and learning opportunities. Can be divided into 2, including maintaining and enhancing quality. And Part C is public information. When institution sets quality standards, they want to make sure that standards, quality, and information is managed at all levels. So top management and committee structures must make sure that there are mechanisms in the place for standards, quality, and information management. At faculty or department level, there should be structures, mechanisms, and policies in place. At program level, and similarly at module level. So at each level, standards, quality of learning opportunities, and information, public information is managed. Let's think forward and ask these questions. How do you ensure that below mentioned reference points are effectively used to maintain and enhance academic standards at your institutions? Have you heard about UK quality code? Have you heard about threshold standards, academic infrastructures, external benchmarks, program specifications? Do you know how to use them? Have you heard about subject benchmark statements, framework of higher education qualifications, FHEQ, teaching excellence framework, UK professional body standards, and professional statutory body regulatory bodies requirements? What is academic infrastructure? All that. So it includes framework of higher education qualifications, code of practice, subject benchmark statements, and program specification. But what are those things are? Let's see. Academic standards are the standards that individual degree awarding bodies set and maintain for award for their academic credit or qualifications, and they are supported by qualification framework, which is known as framework of higher education qualification. Characteristic statements describe the distinctive features and the purpose of qualifications at particular level, and the credit framework specify minimum credit volume and the level of qualifications, and subject benchmark statement sets expectations about standards of degree in range of subject areas in terms of abilities and skills required. This is a framework of higher education qualifications. So if you look at the diagram, you will see that it shows that how UK higher education framework, higher education, and Scottish higher education framework, and European higher education framework is interlinked. In UK, we have level 4, which is HNC level, level 5, which is HND level or second year of university degree, and level 6, which is final degree, BA honors or BSc honors. And then level 7 is all master's program, including postgraduate certificates to postgraduate degrees, MAs, MPhil, MScs and MBAs. And then the last level is highest level, which is level 8, which is PhD, DPhil. So how they are different? They are different based on the level of analysis, level of evaluation, level of creativity involved in the process of, so it's more the depth of knowledge. One more framework is Teaching Excellence Framework. So what is Teaching Excellence Framework? It's a new framework coming for quality management or quality enhancement. It checks a few areas like teaching excellence and teaching learning quality, the learning environment, suitable learning environment, student outcomes in the form of what they gain the learning and how they got the jobs, etc. Now, Bloom's taxonomy is very important, or is a good way to understand the depth of knowledge, and also you can understand framework of higher education and also requirement at different level of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This framework, this Bloom's taxonomy has changed over the years, but essentially it is T or T's. T is theory, E example, A analysis, and S synthesis and E evaluation. So lowest level of understanding is just knowing the theory, knowing just the concept and reproducing it. Slightly higher level of is knowledge is able to apply this theory into practice using example or exemplifying. Slightly higher level is analysis, which is more of a comparison, contrast, connect and conclude. 4 C's. And then is synthesis, or some authors recent study says evaluations, which means comparing those results and making decisions. And creativity is the last. When you develop a new knowledge, it's known as creativity. So people are expected to use this Bloom's taxonomy. So you can see that, okay, how level 4 is okay to be at application stage of the knowledge at level 4. However, when you go to level 5, there will be a bit of analysis. When you go to level 6 higher, you'll have a bit of synthesis also. When you go to level 7 and 8, you have to cover creative or create new knowledge and so on. There's another reference point which we usually use is UK Professional Standard Framework. So if you have been Fellow of Higher Education of UK, you will know this framework. This framework essentially tells about that for UK Professional Standard Framework, there are 3 areas which has to be focused by professionals in teaching and learning. One is area of activities, second is core knowledge, third is professional values. What area of activities? Basically is about designing, teaching and assessing the program and the modules. And the core knowledge is 2 things: knowledge of the module and the knowledge of the methods of teaching and using technologies and so on. And the professional values are more about inclusiveness, equality, having research informed teaching and so on. So combination of that is basically tells you that you enhance your education and your learning continuously as a professional in education level. UK higher education, they have defined what is level 4 and 5. We call them descriptors. So level 4 descriptors are basic knowledge of the concepts, basic applications, basic qualitative, quantitative data analysis techniques, and using simple approach for solving problems. If you compare with the level 5, you will see that at level 5, knowledge requires depth, some more critical understanding of the knowledge of well-established principles, ability to apply a range of concepts and also sometimes outside the context in which you learn, and also instead of having simple approaches of solving problem, you need to use range of techniques to solve and carry out critical analysis. Similarly, level 8 is more higher. So if you combine level 5 and enhance it further, knowledge and abilities and analysis, you'll go to level 6. So level 6 is basically systematic understanding, detailed understanding, apply techniques, managing their own learning, very important. At level 6 should show independence, and then apply range of methods and knowledge and understanding, and critically evaluate arguments and make judgments and make solutions. There's one more framework or reference point which you use is academic credit, which simply says is award for successful achievement of sets of learning outcomes. So what is credit value? Credit value tells 2 things. One is amount of learning, second is the level of learning. So you can have credit at level 4, credit at level 5, credit at level 6. That tells the level of learning. and the credit value, for example 15 credit or 20 credit, they indicates notional hours. So for instance 10 credit is equal to 10 hours multiplied by 10, around 100 hours. So 1 credit usually is equal to 10 hours of study and learning or assessment. There's one more external benchmark which is you are supposed to use, which is known as national level subject benchmark statements. What is subject statements? These are some statements which have decided a particular learning outcome suitable for a particular program. So for instance, if somebody is doing a BA business degree, then what is the requirement throughout all universities in UK? If somebody is level 6 business degree, what is the requirement? So essentially the person should be able to show broad, analytical and highly integrated study of business management, should be able to show interrelationship of company, organization, its external environment and internal environment, and also show a range of cognitive and intellectual skills, and also show integrated teaching, learning and assessment strategy. This sets benchmark. Similarly, if it's a program of computing, you will have the similar knowledge and understanding, but the subject will change to computing, and the environment and other things also will change. If it's a degree related to hotel management, similarly knowledge and understanding will change, but it's a definite defined benchmark for a particular subject line of the study. Program specifications are, what is that? It's a concise descriptions of intended learning outcome of the program. So if you look at any program handbook, you'll find it tells you what learning outcome are there for the program and how those learning outcomes be achieved, and how the overall program learning outcomes are interrelated with associated modules. And the lowest level of benchmark is module specification, which usually come from awarding bodies or universities or any other organizations which award certificates. So it includes things like introduction to the module, learning outcomes, who is the lecturer, what kind of assessment strategies are followed, what is the summation procedures, and so on. Look at some reflective statement which we started. So reference points. So you must be familiar with UK quality code, which is definite reference points, threshold standards, academic standards for a particular level, academic infrastructures, all those things which you're looking in front of you, quality code, threshold, benchmarks, and program specifications. These are on academic structures. External benchmarks are external reference point outside your university, outside your module level. If you benchmark outside, you call it external benchmark. Program specifications at the program level. Subject benchmark statements are national benchmarks for a particular subject. Framework of higher education qualification tells you what level is your education. Teaching excellence framework, also the teaching, learning environment and teachers student success measurement. UK professional standard framework is more about talking about what values, skills and activities a teacher should do. And professional statutory bodies, so in institutions, for example, or hotel, we have OTHM, or maybe another professional body for computing, which decides what is the requirement if somebody had to work in that profession. Look at more reflective questions. What are the mechanisms in place to consider external reference points in designing and developing the module in your place? What are the mechanisms in place to consider students' view? Do you listen to students for module design or not? What policies are in place? What staff development training have you attended for enhancing effectiveness of your teaching and learning? How do you know they are working? What are the systematic approaches to identify and support and disseminate good practice at your module level or program level or department level, institution level? Shares your experiences about processes of various committee meetings, student staff consultancy meetings, module committees, program level committees, institute level committees, and so on. And how do you know this system is working or not working? One more thing which teachers must know in the form of strategic approach to learning and teaching is about involving student in developing the process of an implementation and monitoring teaching. Talk about breadth, depth and the pace and the challenges of the learning. It should cover inclusive and diversity of the knowledge and skills of understanding. scholarship and professional practices. It should cover diversity methods. It should cover strategic approach to reflect themes that cross select boundaries. So if somebody is running strategic approach, they should make sure it is inclusive, it is scholarship based, it is using diverse methods, and is taking care of all students, and so on. Think of the reflective questions. For example, what is higher education learning and teaching strategy at your institution? Do you know? What training have you received on application of UK Quality Code, framework of higher education qualification, quality code, benchmark statements, and so on? How do you make use of research-informed teaching? Share your experiences about your using best practices to engage students with a diverse profile in your class. How do you ensure inclusive learning, and how your approach is informed by higher education learning and teaching strategies at your institutions? Tell us about the policies on resetting circumstances, mitigating circumstances, extensions, and the plagiarizing. How do you ensure that students understand their responsibilities and entitlements? Tell us something about learning resources. How do you balance the needs of depth of learning and inclusive learning, including diversity? How do you engage students? Engagement means the time spent, more time, more engagement, quality of effort put by the student, level of involvement of the student into process of learning and assessment, social and academic integration at institution level. So it includes motivation level of the students to engage, active participation of students in the quality systems, transparent mechanism of student representations, providing induction and ongoing support to the teachers and students, and monitoring effectiveness of the policies if they're working with the students. Look at these reflective questions to understand how do you engage with awarding bodies to enhance quality of learning experiences of your students. What kind of training is provided to your students in like induction training, enhancement, personal training, and so on. What are the policies regarding strength-based teaching at your institutions, if there are any, and how these procedures are followed at program or module level? Tell us something about peer observations of teaching, how it is implemented and how it's used, what are the evidences. Share your experience regarding personal tutoring system at your institution. Is it effective? Is it working? How do you know it's working? What mechanisms your institution has in place to monitor and enhance student engagement in quality systems, design, and teaching and learning? Can you please share good practices of your student engagement at your module level? How do you share those good practices? What proactive steps are taken by you for working in partnership with the student body? How do you know that your processes are working perfectly? One aspect for enhancement of teaching and learning is about assessment, equitable, valid, and reliable processes for assessment, including prior learning. So assessment should be clear, assessment should be efficient, which means not overly burdensome, effective, which means valid and fit for purpose, and robust. Specific learning outcomes should not be assessed more than once, and constructive environment and alignment, which means teaching, assessment, and learning outcomes should be interrelated. Let's look at the learning reflective questions. Tell us about assessment processes and the cycles at the module, program, institution level, and your role. Has these been assessed as per the requirement of the level? How do you ensure that students know about the assessment processes in vertical formative assessment, second marking, and external examiner and exam boards? Tell us about the moderation of assessment at your institution level, sampling, reviewing marks, discussion between moderators, and so on. What are procedures for handling unacceptable academic practices? How staff and students engage in dialogue to promote a shared understanding about academic judgment of assessments? How and when do you give students feedback on their work, and how do you handle students' objections? How do you ensure an inclusive design and reasonable adjustment to the assessments? Give examples. How do you support your students to develop an understanding of and necessary skills to demonstrate good academic practices? What kind of training have you received as assessors, and was it useful? How do you ensure that you have closed the loop of quality related concerns which are raised by external examiner, and so on? One more important part is monitoring the process, like what are the mechanisms that placed at various levels, say module monitoring, department level, program level, institution level, to monitor, identify themes for enhancement, compare the themes across departments, and implement actions to review effectiveness. What your institution has done at various levels, at module level, at program level, at department level, at institution level, to improve student retention and progress rate is working. How the information, the data from various sources are used to identify any themes on issues and the actions plans for the students. How do you know that this system is working effectively? What are the evidences? So summarizing, UK Quality Code is sum total of so many benchmarks which can be seen as academic infrastructures. So in the form of code of practice, the quality code itself, subject benchmark statements, program specifications, framework of higher education qualification, framework related to professional bodies, and the process has to be continuously evolving. So starting from program evaluation or approval, improving program, internal review, periodic review, subject reviews, and then evidence collection, and then continuously working on the program enhancement. How this is assessed, basically QA team looks at tangible benefits or tangible evidences in the form of a document which institutions write. We call it SED or self-evaluation document. They will also look at evidences of documents, meeting notes, or any external examiner or annual monitoring reports. They will also be meeting with management staff and students so that they can triangulate evidences from at least 3-4 different sources to arrive at the solution that your institution is meeting academic standards, enhancing learning opportunities, and releasing reliable, valid public information. So summarizing, quality code is a definite reference point which leads to an award. It has 3 parts: academic standards, learning opportunities, enhancement, public information. Thank you very much. For more details, please visit qaa.ac.uk. Thank you very much.